Hello, investigators, and welcome to Until the End of Time. My name is Werner. Thank you again for joining me. This is going to be the third weekly wrap-up of Starter Deck leaks. Please check out my other two videos if you haven't yet. We've been getting a leak from the Starter Deck every day. As I've said before, I'm not responsible for these leaks. I don't know who the person leaking is. I don't know why they're doing it the way they are or which order they're picking the cards. Just know that they are, and I think it's nice if everybody has access to these cards. As such, I'm also holding a Imgur album with every card in it, and I also have a spreadsheet online that is tracking the card numbers and seeing what we're still missing. So with that out of the way, let's get started. The first card is Obsessive, which is a new basic weakness from the Harvey deck. Revelation, put Obsessive into play in your threat area. Forced, when your turn begins, discard one non-weakness card at random from your hand, and then action, discard Obsessive. Now, we've seen a number of basic weaknesses that deal with discarding cards before, or hand size as it were, and I think this one it's different. So the big thing here is the random discard. Unlike, say, Drawing the Sign, which can very easily hit several cards in your hand, but you get to pick which card you get, Obsessive could be both better or worse. If you are looking to hold onto a handful of good cards, then Drawing the Sign is obviously worse. But if you have one card in your hand that you really need to keep, Obsessive can be disastrous. It might also be fine because you might hit something else. Although this is Arkham, so let's face it. We also have Amnesia. Now, Amnesia is of course a little different because Amnesia hits everything, but it's a one-time effect. Much like Drawing the Sign, this is an action, like you have to clear it. I think this is one you want to be clearing very quickly because the longer it stays, the worse it gets, which is very different than Drawing the Sign. Drawing the Sign is just a, it usually is the worst the turn you draw it. Worth pointing out that if you draw Obsessive in your upkeep, of course, you will not have a chance to take that double action ability before your turn begins, and you will then lose your card. So it's definitely an interesting design. I do think, and I should mention before I get any further, I'm not doing a complete in-depth review of these cards because that would slow down the leaks video too much. I'm planning on doing those somewhere down the line. So I think I've said enough about Obsessive. Let's move on to the next card, which is Leather Jacket from the Winifred deck. A rogue asset, 2 cost, 1 combat icon, item and armor traded, takes up the body slot, it's fast, and it has 2 health and null sanity. So this is just a soak card. It's been compared to the Leather Coat, which is a survivor card that is the same card except 0 cost and not fast. And I don't know, I kind of like this design. I definitely think it's an interesting design. I don't know how good it is. Paying 2 for to make this card fast is pretty bad, so I feel like any investigator's access to Leather Coat probably prefers that over this. But I can't deny that this is a good effect, and putting fast on this card does actually help alleviate the 2 cost in a bit, because if you don't need the extra 2 health, you can afford not to play it until you need it, right? You don't have to go, okay, well, I'll need to play my Leather Jacket now. It's like, oh, wait, no, I'm about to take a bunch of damage. Let's play Leather Jacket. Which does play into kind of this rogue style of holding onto cards until you need them. Next up, we have the Robes of Endless Night level 0. Chuck this one down on there, saw that one coming. So it's a 3 cost asset, agility icon, mystic card, item and clothing traded. With a reaction, when you play a spell card, exhaust the robes to reduce the cost of that card by 1. 2 cost or 2 health, null sanity, and it takes up the body slot. Also awesome art and flavor text. Now, we've already seen Robes of Endless Night level 2, which was previewed earlier. I think this is actually a pretty good comparison and also a really good sign of like the balance of this card, because Robes of Endless Night level 2 is definitely better, but it's mostly better because of the 1 cost reduction. The provoking attacks of opportunity isn't always super relevant, but this is ultimately an economy card, right? You want to be playing spell cards and then discounting them. And so having your economy cards themselves not be super expensive is kind of important. And that's why I think a lot of people will be upgrading into level 2 eventually. But I do like that I feel the robes at level 0 are still good enough to at least put into your deck. And you just have to upgrade them early on. Because 3 cost for 2 health soak, like that's not great. But if you also reduce, say, 3 spells, you've essentially gotten this, you got your money back at least. Okay, so next up we have Scrapper. Scrapper level 0. Now, this is a card I think no one saw coming. And we've actually seen some memes about it as well, because it is exactly the same card as Hard Knocks, which is a rogue card. But this is basically 0 XP, 2 cost, asset, combat and agility icons, talent, and then you can spend a resource to get +1 combat or +1 agility. Now, this card is interesting in the not so interesting way, as in it's a fun card to have in a very small card pool. If you're playing Stella and you want to be fighting and evading, this is a good card to have in your deck. The problem is, I think a lot of people have stopped playing the Corset stat boosters because they're just prohibitively expensive, and there are cheaper, better ways of boosting your stats these days. This isn't going into Jenny, who's the only person I think that was still using those occasionally. So I feel like this card is destined for the binder pages, that it's never going to go away. Bit of a shame, but here we are. And of course, it is based on the level 3 version, which is a permanent asset. So, now, next up, we do have a kind of interesting card. It's Lonnie Ritter, the feisty mechanic, 4 cost asset in the rogue, combat icon, ally, takes up the ally slot, and you get +1 combat. And then a fast action, exhaust Lonnie Ritter and spend a resource. Choose an item asset controlled by an investigator at your location. Heal 1 damage from that asset and 1 horror from Lonnie Ritter. 2 damage, 3 horror. Soak. So, I think this is a really interesting card. There's some confusion about the ability. Now, I'm not quite sure how this works. I haven't had the time to really delve into it yet. But I know you need to have a item asset in play at your location in order for this to have a valid target for the ability. But some people are saying you can only do this if the target could also be affected by the ability, ergo there would have to be 1 damage on that asset. Now, if that's the case, this card gets significantly worse, because the big part of that ability isn't actually healing the damage from the item asset, it's going to be healing the horror from Lonnie. Because the place I see this card shine is in fighter decks that don't have a lot of sanity. Tony, Skids, Finn, maybe if you want to go that way. Leaning on that +1 combat. And I think actually if this ability doesn't require you to have damage on the item asset, then this is a better card than Beat Cop in, say, Skids, because it prevents you from sanity damage. Like, it's already got pretty good, like just having 3 sanity is really good. And then the ability to heal that. So I should mention, by the way, Beat Cop level 0, because Beat Cop level 2 of course is insane, but the problem with Beat Cop level 0 is that, it's got that discard ability, but that's not something you want to do with a 4 cost asset. So I like Lonnie. I think it's a really interesting card, and I'll let you know if I get any more input on that ability, whether or not you can activate that if there's no damage on the item, which is a big, for me that's a big point, because if that doesn't work, then activating this ability is going to be very hard. But we'll have to see. Also, a lot of people hoping we get a motorcycle asset, which, same. Next up, we have the Forbidden Tome Dark Knowledge. Now, we saw the Forbidden Tome untranslated several weeks ago, and the secrets revealed, I think, last week. And so this is the other translation, or at least one of the other translations. So 1 cost asset, 3 XP, willpower, combat, and wild icons, item, relic, and tome, takes up a hand slot. You can only include this asset in your deck by upgrading it from the Forbidden Tome, so it's the same translation text. And then action, exhaust the Forbidden Tome, move 1 damage from a player card at your location to an enemy at your location, reduces ability's action cost by 1 for every 4 cards in your hand to a minimum of action. So, like the Secrets Revealed card, this is a 4 action ability that can become a 1 action ability if you have 12 cards in hand. Any more than that doesn't help. But unlike Secrets Revealed, I really don't think this is worth it. The problem for me is just the opportunity cost. So first you need to include the untranslated card into your deck. You then have to put in some effort translating it. Then you have to spend 3 XP on this card. Then you have to play it. It takes up a hand slot. And then what you get to do is if you have 12 cards in hand, you get to spend an action to move 1 damage from one thing to another thing. An asset or a player card or whatever, or to an enemy. Now, that's all well and good, but just the amount of hoops you have to jump through just to get to that point means that I want that ability to be far more powerful. I would like this to be an ability that can put damage on enemies far away, so at least I could snipe acolytes. Because I just don't think that dealing 1 enemy and damage to an enemy is ever gonna be like something I'm blown away by. To add to that, if you're engaged with said enemy, you're gonna take an attack of opportunity. People were talking about like healing it from beat cups, and I was just thinking, but there are so many better ways of doing that, and the damage seems fairly inconsequential. The heal seems fairly inconsequential. You can only use this card once a turn because it exhausts. Now, I've heard people I know are very good players at this game say this card is interesting and they want to try it. And, obviously I am in favor of people trying cards because I don't think, no, you should only play the best decks ever. That's stupid. But I do think this is not a card I'm at all excited about because I feel like it is a lot of work for a very marginal payoff. So yeah, I'm kind of disappointed by this one, and kind of by extension the other ones, because I was hoping Secret Reveal was going to be the weak version and that we would get a second translation that's really strong. And instead it seems like the Secret Revealed was the strong version. So that's a bit of a shame. Oh well, moving along, we have today's preview or leak, which is Cryptic Writings level 0. Now we've seen Cryptic Writings level 2 in the live stream that first announced these products. But this one is a 0 cost event, 0 XP, 2 intellect icons, Cryptic Writings, Insight, gain 2 resources, and reaction. After you draw Cryptic Writings during your turn, play it. Okay, so the thing about this card is that it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's actually... So if you draw it during your turn, you get to gain 2 resources. That's kind of nice if you have a lot of draw, which Seekers generally do. This is an actionless sort of like e-cash kind of effect. It does have 2 intellect icons, which is kind of neat. Again, like you can use those. It's just... Cryptic Writings level 2 is a good card because you'll get you at least 3 resources, right? You don't always get that 4 resources. In fact, I've been playing with it in a campaign right now, and I rarely ever get 4 resources off of it. But you get the 3 resources. 2 resources make this card very edge case, because if you draw this in upkeep, I don't think you just play it. It's worse than emergency cash, which is not a sentence you want to hear. The double intellect icon does kind of save that because, at least you'll be able to pass an intellect test with it, but most Seekers can do that anyway. So I feel like if you include this, it's only in there for like the first couple of scenarios and you get rid of it and replace it with the leveled up version, which I think is really strong. So yeah. Well, that's all the previews for this week. Thank you very much for watching. Links to the Imgur album, to the spreadsheet, to... What else am I doing? Videos? I'll put whatever I have in the description. And I'll, of course, if we get more leaks, I'll keep making these videos. So check it out same time next week. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be seeing you until the end of time.